So anyway, one of the things I wanted to do in a video was go from one view with these bars to the new bar. So this is, hopefully my camera can pick it up, I'm sure it does. But so this is what the stock bars look like. And the 6-bend 12-inch bars from KST look like this. Ring! There you go. New bars. They turned out pretty good. I worked on them a little bit on a Thursday night for about 4 hours. Then Friday night I think I put about, I don't know, 7 or 8 hours worth of time on them, and I finished them up on a Sunday. I think all in all, to swap out the bars took me about 20 hours. So, you know, it takes a little bit on a 2013. 2014s and up, the Rushmore models are a little different. The cable, clutch cable is a little different. It actually splits where you can adjust it. This one you have to take the clutch cable out in its entirety, which requires you to remove the cover off the transmission. And in order to get that cover off a little easier, it's easier to take the exhaust right off, especially this header setup from Reinhardt. It hugs really tight. There might be other manufacturers of headers that maybe gives you a little more room to work with, but the Reinhardts are pretty close. It'd be really tough to get an Allen wrench in it, even with a ball end, to be able to take that cover off and get the cable out of there and route a new one. So that was a little bit of a challenge. The throttle side, there's really not much there. The brake line, I ordered a kit, so it came with the wires to extend the wire harness, and then also it came with a whole different brake line setup from here down to a T that goes out to both calipers. That's all those brake lines are all new. And then the wiring harness, of course, that's a little bit involved. It's kind of interesting how they did it, because they gave you, I think the idea was to give you colored wires that match the colors in your harness. And they did, except about, I don't know, 3 or 4 wires I did not have matching colors for. And there's probably, boy, gosh, there's got to be, what is it, 6, 12, there's probably at least 25 wires or so, something like that. A couple dozen, maybe, give or take a few, but, and there was, I don't know, 3 or 4 wires that I just did not have matching colors to. So I took pictures. I'll print off those pictures and I'll put it in my maintenance manual in case in the future I ever have an issue and I want to look at what wires run certain systems. If I'm having an issue with the systems, I don't know. But so these bars are KST's 6-bend bars, and I think they're 12-inch. Yeah, they're 12-inch bars, which puts them just above the fairing, so my hands are in the wind, where before they weren't. And I had these bars right up all the way, like almost tight to the fairing, like between the windshield and the bars was extremely close. And it was a bit of a stretch for me. I had a buddy of mine who's got a little longer arms. He thought they were perfect. But for me, I felt my shoulders rolling forward and it was just a bit of a stretch and I didn't like it. So I brought the bars back. I brought them back, you know, a couple inches here. And when I did that, as I'm sitting, it put the switch housings right in front of the mirrors. I can see like the bottom third of the mirrors. If I duck my head down, I can see what's behind me. So I don't think I'm going to leave it like that. I think I'm going to try to find some different mirrors. I know they make a relocation kit for these where you can move down these mirrors, but I really don't want to move them down because I have seen bikes with those on there and it just looks goofy. So I'm looking around to see if they have different. I do have the holes in here to mount mirrors the traditional way on both sides, but they'd really be up here. I'm not sure that's what I want either. I might try to mount some underneath. You know, like sometimes they take the mirror and they mount it underneath the handlebar. I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna play around with it for a little bit and see how it turns out. But I can't remember the name of the company that I got the bars from. Terrible, because it was like an acronym. But I'll put it up on the screen here. And it's kind of a funny story. When I looked at their website, I just Googled bars, you know, and I'm looking through various different websites. And this one popped up, and the price was pretty good on these KST bars. I was kind of looking at them already on a different site, and his price was pretty decent. But I got looking around, like, how do I contact him? I didn't really want to order online yet, but I kind of wanted to, I had some questions, so I wanted to talk to somebody. And it was July 4th. And I seen this phone number up in the top right corner of the web page. But it didn't look like a phone number, it just looked like a row of numbers, but it had the same amount of numbers as a phone. And it didn't say like contact, you do this number or whatever. It just, to me, it was like, is that the phone number? It kind of looks like it, but I'm not sure. So like a goofball, I just, July 4th, you know? I figured, well, I'll just call it and see. Thinking I'd get an answer machine or something, you know, or recording at the close, of course. And nope, the guy picks up and he's just like, hello? And then I was like, well, do I have the right number? Maybe this isn't a phone number. So I asked him, I said, is this whatever the name of the company is, like TSG something? I've got it wrong, I'm sure. But anyway, he goes, yeah, this is that. I'm like, oh, so I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to call on a holiday. I was just double checking that this was the number I was going to call on Monday. He goes, no, that's all right. So I'm not doing anything. What do you need? I'm like, I don't want to bother you on a holiday. He goes, no, really? I'm just sitting around doing nothing. You want to talk motorcycles? What do you need? Super nice guy. So we sat there and talked probably a good half hour. He answered all my questions, and we got talking about custom motorcycles, and he had done a lot of building of different bikes. Sounded like he had a lot of experience, you know. And so he's like, you want to order one now? I said, I don't even have my credit card on me, which I actually didn't. It was upstairs. But he said, I'll tell you what. He says, let's get it going, and I'll send you the invoice. And if you decide to pull the trigger on it, all you got to do is fill out a couple things on the email, send it back, and voila, it'll be done. It'll be on its way right after the holidays. So I told him what I wanted to do. He told me what I needed and got the ball rolling. And before I even hung up, he already had the email to me. And so I looked it over after we got done talking. I looked it over for a little while, and I kind of looked around a little bit more in some other places, and his prices were pretty good. So I'm like, he was such a nice guy to take time out of his holiday to talk bikes with me. So I'm like, I gotta buy it from him. I mean, I don't think anybody else was really beating his price anyway. So I ordered them, and I got it. I want to say within the next week. You know, with the holiday, everything was kind of weird. Excuse me. Everything was kind of weird. So so I did get them, but there was the wires weren't in the kit. It's like most of the kit was there, but the actual wires themselves were not. So I texted him, and he texted me right back. So really, he was sorry about it. He said, I'll call my vendor and get them out right away. And they were there in 2 days. So, and that was back in July. And here it is, what am I, in the middle of August, and I finally just got it done. So obviously there's no hurry, but I was really appreciative of his help, and he got right on top of it. So I want to give him a good shout out, because I thought he did, you know, went above and beyond in customer service, and I really appreciated his help. Kevin is his name. I remember his name, Kevin. And like I said, I'll put all this stuff on the screen so people can see. He's a good guy. I don't know how big his company is, if he's just a little guy starting out and he's got some vendors he's working through. I kind of got that vibe from him. But if you're looking for a place to get some bars and get good service, I don't have anything bad to say about him. I thought he did an awesome job, and so check him out. Check out his website. And yeah, it looks really good. My arms are comfortable, my neck feels better. they're really about the right height I wanted, because I was picturing getting some bars that were just even with the top of the fairing, and they're maybe, I don't know, they're maybe an inch taller than I was thinking, but that's right in there. I got no complaints on that. You hit the numbers. It is interesting. I've been riding this bike for, I put 33,000 miles on it over the last 5 years or so, and to go from stock bars up to this, it's definitely a little bit of an adjustment, but it doesn't take but a couple hundred miles and it's like home. It doesn't feel any different anymore. The only time I feel a little weird is when I go into a real sharp corner. My arms are, it's a little bit more of a reach, like in a parking lot, that's what I should say. When I'm trying to park and I got to make a tight turn, like a U-turn, it's a little different. But cruising, I mean, I actually feel like I got more leverage on the bars, and I think when you feel like you got more leverage, the bike feels lighter. I can flip this thing back and forth. Get the big bumps, but I can flip this thing back and forth pretty quick for a big old street glide. And I don't know, I really like it. I'm glad I did it. I think next time I go on a good long trip, my neck and my shoulders are gonna feel way better. So yeah. Oh, look at all the sunflowers. That's the other thing I like, is when I put the passenger pegs down, put my feet back there, I can stand up on those and I can still reach the bars. So if I'm in traffic or something, I just want to see, like here on the back roads, I want to get a little better view, I can stand way up on these things and get a great view. And or when it's 90 degrees out and 95 and humid, and you're out riding, you're just getting hot, and you're getting the old swamp butt from sitting in a hot leather seat, it's nice to stand up and just kind of feel the breeze. I always like coming back to this road. It reminds me of, I feel like I'm like in Alabama or something here with the swampy roads, but the roads are dirty, as you can tell. And I ain't gonna lie, it smells like fish back here. That guy must be bird watching. So maybe just enjoy this ride a little bit and enjoy the view, hit a couple of nice roads. Yeah. river is really down. Usually all that's underwater. It looks like it dropped at least a couple of feet. We had a lot of rain this past spring and pretty much all summer long. Holy cow, there's like, look at all those white, the GoPro won't pick it up, but look at all the white cranes. Yeah, I'm sure the GoPro won't pick that up looking into the sun. That guy sitting in the car had a huge camera. Must have been that long. So there's bird watchers out. I suppose it's getting towards fall. Birds are starting to migrate back south. I know the geese have really been gathering up. But I don't want to think about winter coming. I know it's coming. I need another project. I've done what I wanted to do on this one this year. I don't know what I want to do with the Sporty. I got lots of ideas for that, but all the ideas are kind of big money. And it's really not bad the way it is. I need to find somebody who's got a bike that just doesn't work for crap and wants somebody to fix it up and aren't afraid to spend a few bucks on it, you know. I'll give them free labor, but I don't give guarantees either. I'm not really like certified Harley mechanic. I'm just a do-it-yourselfer kind of guy. Anyway, I better let you go. Thanks for coming along, and we'll see you on the next ride. Have a safe trip.